This is the plaintiff, David. He says he brought his car to the defendant's car wash, and as he entered the parking lot, his car got swallowed up by a big pothole. His tire was damaged beyond repair. The defendant refuses to buy him a new tire, so he's suing this bad businessman for the $190.92 he's out. This is the defendant, Anthony. He says he has no idea what caused this guy's tire to puncture. His car wash is located on a beat-up road full of potholes. He has a little one in his parking lot, and shouldn't this guy try to avoid going into a pothole like the rest of the world does? Bottom line, he's not responsible for the plaintiff's bad driving habits. He's accused of not paying up.
All parties, please use your right hand. The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian's presiding. Litigants have been sworn. Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. David, you're suing
Yes.
Mr. Anthony for $190.92 to replace a tire you say was damaged in front or at their establishment. Tell me what happened.
What happened was I go into the defendant's establishment about 2 times a month, sometimes more, sometimes less. I go in there in May, around May 20th, May 21st of 2022, and there's 3 potholes in the entrance. Can't avoid them. My front tire goes inside the huge pothole, I think. It could have gone in the smaller one, but goes in the pothole. I'm going in the parking lot at about 5 miles an hour, and it's damaged. It has a large...
Do you realize right away that it's damaged?
Yes.
What makes you realize it? A sound or what?
The sound. It made a large noise.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought it was out of air. I get my car washed. I look at this. There's a large bulge on the side of the tire. I think it was the front tire. This was a pretty new tire. It was maybe 3 months old, maybe 4 months old, 5 or 6 months at the most.
So what'd you do?
What I did was, I think I went home and...
Did you speak to anybody at the establishment?
No, there was nobody at the establishment. It's a self-service wash.
And there's not a human working there?
I don't believe so.
Is there a human working at the establishment?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so it is totally automated.
Yes.
All right, so you go home and what happens?
I figure I'll wait till the end of the week and get it replaced. I was busy all week, and I just wanted to wait till the end of the week on a Friday or Saturday and get it replaced. But I can't do that. On that Monday...
Are you driving?
Yeah, I was driving
You
it.
kept
Yes.
driving it?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
I kept filling the tire with air, but it was still...
Did you ever call them?
Yes.
When did you call them?
I think about 2 weeks later.
Okay, why did you wait 2 weeks to call them if you're confident it happened at their place?
Well, I had some other problems. My wife had coronavirus a few days after this incident, and I didn't have the time. We're talking about $190.
Right, but if it's not important to you, it's not important to me either. See, so here's the thing. You've come to court because it's important to you and you're suing for it. So it's important. So one of the things that I'd expect from the plaintiff, if you're positive that their potholes caused your damage, is that you would alert them and say, hey, who's going to, at some point sooner than 2 weeks later, because for 2 weeks you're driving on that tire, and their next question is going to be, how do we know it happened at our place?
I was driving 2 days before it gave out.
Well, then why didn't you call them in 2 days if it gave out?
Because I didn't know the number.
Well, why didn't you find, you found the number, why didn't you find the number? Your wife having coronavirus is not a reason you can't go and press 10 numbers.
On Saturday or Sunday, I had no... I could not find the number. So what I did was I found out who the owner was sometime that week.
Why would it take you 2 weeks to find out? How did you find out?
I called up the town of Babylon, and I spoke to them, and they told me who the owner was.
Who were you? You were calling the town of Babylon. Why? Because
I wanted to
it was
see
a sidewalk, and you thought they might be responsible?
No, I wanted to see who owned the property.
It didn't occur to you that maybe the town of Babylon was responsible?
The fact is, there were holes throughout the parking lot. It was 3 potholes. It wasn't just one, it was 3 of them.
I'm just curious. Did you have a conversation with the town of Babylon?
Yes.
And what information did they give you about
They-
sidewalks?
They only gave me one piece of information as to who the owner was.
Did you ever tell the town of Babylon that, hey, there's a huge pothole in the sidewalk and you guys owe me for a tire?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you call the town of Babylon. You figure out, let me call the town of Babylon, but you figure it out 2 weeks after the event. You don't leave a note at the car wash. You don't mail anything to the car wash. You don't look up. Is your number listed? Is there a number? Does somebody answer?
Yes, we have a number in the car wash in each bay. Any problem, call this number.
Right,
Yes, so there is a number listed.
right in the bays. Do you have a picture of that?
No, we didn't know.
I saw no number.
Is your car wash listed as well? Does it have a phone number?
Yes.
And does someone answer that number?
Yes.
Because I imagine if I have a question for you, how much do you charge or whatever, and you're trying to get business, you would need to have a working phone number.
Right.
All right, and if you've been there a million times, why didn't you just call information and get the phone number? You know the name of it because you've been there a million times.
Well, I know the name of it, but as far as I know, there was nothing. The only way
Did you
I
ever
was
look
able
up
to get the
information? Did you look up in the yellow pages, or did you go on the internet and try to get their phone number?
I may have. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
All right, so when is the first time you hear from the plaintiff?
I'm not exactly sure the date.
All right, and what does he say?
He said he in the entrance, coming in the entrance, he hit a pothole, and he damaged his tire.
And what did you say?
I says that's impossible because there is a little pothole, but it's only about 2 inches deep in the front driveway.
2 inches
coming
is a pretty deep pothole. I don't know why you're saying only 2 inches deep.
I
Well,
do
you got to
have
see all the rest of
pictures,
them,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Yeah. So what?
You got to see all the rest of them.
Yeah, I don't live in New York, and people are used to, you're used to a lot of stuff that the rest of us aren't. All right, this here is a picture of an indentation that's probably less than 2 inches. This picture here, how deep do you think that one is?
Yeah, but an inch to 1 to 2 inches.
Okay, and then that's a different one, which is a little indentation. I don't know that that's even 2 inches. Now this is an atrocity. Is this the sidewalk in front of your business?
Yes.
Right. And are you aware that in your town you are responsible for fixing the sidewalk in front of your business?
I assume so.
Right. You guys got to fix the sidewalk in front of the business. You can't have this hole here.
Yeah, it has been fixed since then.
Yeah, I hope so. What about the other divots? These here, have these been fixed since then?
Yes, they've been fixed also.
Everything's been fixed. Good, because that's what's supposed to happen. You guys are you're responsible for the. People think this is unfair and that it's a city sidewalk, but virtually every municipality has that law that says, you know what, we're going to make each of you guys have to do it. In fact, your municipality has this law: each owner, lessor, lessee, tenant, occupant, or other person in charge of any property within the town is responsible to fix it. So if I'm a tenant, I got to pay for the sidewalk. I mean, the city's basically just saying anyone who breathes that's not the city is responsible, which is kind of nutty. How did you end up deciding to fix it? Did the town say something to you?
And yeah, just I just decided to do it because the parking lot was starting to look a little with those little potholes. It wasn't good, so I decided to fix it.
Right.
I've driven past there numerous occasions, and it was not fixed. It was just recently fixed about.
No, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Right. The problem that we have is not, is this enough to give a pothole? It absolutely is. The problem I have is, did your problem happen here? Because you don't show. What do you mean this? You drove it for 2 weeks before telling anybody that it happened there. That's a problem for you.
Your Honor, I drove it for 2 days.
And then still didn't tell them that it happened there. And they're listed. They have a number. It's listed.
Your Honor, it was not.
Do you understand that this is a problem? That part of your case is a problem? I understand why you didn't tell anybody there because it's fully automated. There's nobody to tell. But according to them, there's phone numbers in every bay. Let's say that's a lie. Let's say it's a bold-faced lie by that man. They're listed in the phone book. They're a business. They're listed. You claim to go there all the time. Why didn't you just call them and say, hey, I just left your place, and there's a pothole, and my tire looks like it has a problem, and why didn't you do that in 3 weeks? Oh, my wife had COVID. Well, I mean.
Your Honor, the situation was, I had a number that was to a mastic car wash, not to this particular car wash. And then I had to make sure that it was a correct number.
Why don't you just drive by there again if you go there all the time and make sure it's the correct number? If you don't know their name, is that what you're saying? You go there all the time, but I'm sorry. Are you saying you go there all the time, but you don't know their name?
I don't go there all the time. I go there 2 times a month. So
That's a lot. And you don't know their name? I don't even wash my car that often.
It's a self-serve car wash. I mean, you know, there's 3.
Is it close to your house?
Yeah, it's the closest.
Because I'm not going to buy it when you say no, right? It's close to your house. That's why you go twice a month. Well, then why don't you just drive by there since you're driving for weeks before you tell anybody?
It's actually close to my office. It's not really. It's between my office and house.
Listen.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says his car was swallowed up when he drove into the defendant's car wash. Says the place was riddled with potholes. Now he needs a new tire. But the defendant says there are millions of potholes on the road and sidewalks, and the plaintiff should avoid them like everybody else. Let's go back into the courtroom.
I've got to make sure that I don't have a situation where you have a tire problem and then you see a place you go to a lot and you see this enormous pothole that he's supposed to be fixing and isn't. And then you say, you know what, I'm going to pin it on them. Because you're waiting 2 whole weeks to say anything.
I only 2 days the tire blew out.
When did you say something to this establishment blaming them?
Like I said, within 2 weeks.
All right. Do you have proof your tire blew within 2 days and then you said nothing to anybody? Still said nothing to anybody?
Yes, I do. I have a bill.
Right. So I want to see that. So you get a bill and the bill says $190.
It's actually in $190.92.
Lovely. So, and then do you pay for the tire and get a new tire?
Yes.
Right. So I'd imagine when you're forking over $200, that's when it's freshest in your mind that you want the people responsible to pay. And yet many weeks pass before you ever call them. Yeah. I find that to be problematic, and I'm ruling in favor of the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff fails to prove his case. He does not get $190 for a new tire from the defendant. Let's see how he feels. David, what's your reaction to the judge's decision?
Rather unhappy about it.
You know, you could have done a lot more work. You just didn't do much. You couldn't, you know, you didn't go to the phone booth. There's so much you didn't do.
I had a receipt. I fixed the tire in 2 days. And I had
you waited too
pictures
long.
of the potholes.
Bottom line, you waited too long. That's the essence of it, okay?
Thanks.
I'm sorry about it, but that's the judge's verdict, and you can't prevail. I would imagine the defendants feel much better, but that's a bad pothole in front of their place. Let's see how they feel. Anthony, how do you feel about this case?
Yeah, I'm happy.
You should feel lucky.
Yes, lucky.
I think you are very, very... What about that pothole? Have you had that fixed, that big pothole?
Yes, it's been fixed.
The big one, okay.
Yes.
Does this happen to you very often? People sue you for damage to their tires?
No, it is the first time I've had a claim like this.
All right, well, you're very lucky, okay? Congratulations.
Okay, Doug, a cardinal rule. If you take your car to a car wash or you go to a valet, walk around and look at the car, inspect it well, because once you drive off the lot, you're screwed. I'm telling you, 3 weeks and then he comes back, there is no way in the world a judge is going to rule for him.
If I accidentally sent money to a friend through an app and the app says they're not responsible and the friend refuses to return it, can I go after the friend for the money?
Absolutely.
What about the centuries-old common law rule of finders, keepers,
Losers, weepers?
Yeah.
First of all, you have to get a better class of friends. Let's just start with that. If you accidentally
that person is not a friend.
That is not a friend.
They won't
okay?
send the money back. Oh my God.
That's great. Yeah, the apps are never responsible, and they tell you very clearly in the conditions that you say I accept before you get the app downloaded onto your phone that they're not responsible. So know what you're doing. And now what they've done is they have an insurance kind of situation that you could pay with each transaction in case you make a mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for like an extra $1, you can be protected or whatever. What I always do is I send $5.
Yeah, you taught me to do that.
Right.
I send a test payment. It's like
Right.
$1 or $5.
I send $5. I say, answer me and confirm you got that $5 to the vendor.
Before
and then when they say yes, then I send the whole thing. They can't tell me that they didn't get the money.
Right,
It'll be to the same address, and I'll be confident, you know?
I've had lawsuits that I presided over where a bank sent a wire transfer in the millions of dollars to the wrong account. Or at least that's what, that's the claim. It's like, well, it went to this account, it went to
a guy's account.
The money was supposed to go to Consolidated Lint LLC, and instead it went to Consolidated Lint PA or something, went to some related name. And
what a mistake.
One party was saying that he got grifted out of the money, and the other party was saying, oh, no, I have a relationship to the transaction. It really was supposed to go to me and not to my LLC. So it was this big fight, and I left the bench before it got resolved. So
you leave us hanging like that?
I don't know what the answer is, but it was a lot of money. And, that happens.
But what I've had a lot happen in small claims is when a bank makes a mistake and then the person says, well, you made the mistake. I'm sorry. I pay bills with it. Right. But you know how much money you should. How much money you have. You don't get to keep it because the bank made a mistake.
Those people end up in trouble, and sometimes they get prosecuted.
That's right.
For grand theft and things like that for getting rid of the money.